Glenn, just one other soundbite dovetails perfectly with what we're seeing in the reporting from pollsters, from people who watch polls for a living, including the senior data reporter at CNN, whose name is Harry Enton, with this report. Watch.
The fact of the matter is, you look at the national polling, the generic congressional ballot choice for U.S. House. Look at this. CNN poll, +2 Republican. Wall Street Journal poll, +3 Republican. Monmouth University poll, +3 Republican. Yeah, Joe Biden may be in slightly worse shape in these particular polls, but the fact is, when Biden's down 4, 5, 6 points in these polls, you can only run so far ahead of Joe Biden. At this particular point, at least in the race for the House, it does seem like Republicans are ahead because Donald Trump is so far ahead. Yeah, what's the Senate landscape? I mean, take a look here. GOP needs just a gain of 1 for control if Trump wins. And their path is extremely clear because their best chance for a pickup opportunity is in West Virginia. That's a very likely GOP win with Joe Manchin retiring. If Donald Trump wins this election, the race for the Senate, for all intents and purposes in my mind, is over.
So here's the thing, Glenn. They've been saying, let's see how he does at this presser he's going to have yesterday or tomorrow in connection with NATO. Let's see how he does with the NATO leaders. Now, let's see how he does with Stephanopoulos. That's all a head fake. They needed to buy time to see the polls, which were delayed thanks to the July 4th holiday. The polls are coming in, and no matter what happens at tomorrow's presser or with NATO, they're going to say, he just didn't convince us that he can make the case against Trump. That's what's going to happen. What do you think?
Yeah, I just want to underscore the point that you referred to when you mentioned Alan Dershowitz about the difference between age and cognitive inability. I actually debated Alan Dershowitz, I don't know, a month ago or so, 6 weeks ago or so in New York. He's 85 years old. He had spent the entire day at the courthouse covering the Donald Trump trial. And then he came that night to debate me. You know, he wasn't like sleeping. He wasn't in bed. And I had debated him 10 years earlier when he was 75. And other than the fact that it took him a little bit more time to go up the stairs, there was no difference in terms of Alan Dershowitz today and Alan Dershowitz 10 years ago. Even though he's much older than than Biden, he's obviously very cognitively alert as much as he ever was. Trump's not that much younger than Biden, but people don't have these concerns about Trump. And I think this is what I really think is going on, Megyn, is that the issue is not just that people look at Joe Biden and they will never unsee what they saw in the debate, what they've actually been seeing for many years. Only the media is surprised. Americans have known this for many years. I think they see that the Democratic Party, their allies in the media, have been lying and concealing and covering up this issue for so long. And I think that's another reason why it's reflecting poorly on the down ballot Democratic candidates as well. It just has a stench of like a cover up in a way that's very dangerous and deceitful to lie to the public for so many years about the person who has the nuclear codes and what their mental state is. And I think that is part of it, has like a stench of not just concerns about Biden, but a stench of scandal around the Democratic Party, his allies, and the media as well.
Steve Bannon was on the program the day after the debate, and he said there is no way they're going to lose the House and the Senate without a fight. There's just no chance if they think they eject him and they can save the House and the Senate that they won't eject him. And I realize he controls the delegates and all that, but there are ways of ejecting him. There are ways of having senior party leaders, forget Pelosi and Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. We're talking like Barack and Michelle and Bill and Hillary go and see him. And it could be something as dramatic as we've got a press conference scheduled for 1:00. It's noon right now that we're meeting with you. One of us is going out there. Either you or we are going to those microphones at 1 and making a statement about the future of this race. You know, it's up to you. But his hand could be forced. Nate Silver, polling god at 538, has been making the case for him to step down for a long time, especially post-debate, though, and was saying he's been mentioning that there's this in good conscience, like, clause of the promised delegates, which says they have to vote for Joe Biden unless in good conscience they cannot. And so they could make an argument that they no longer can. There's been a catastrophic event from the time they pledged to support him that must now change. Anyway, the point is the Democrats are not without a hand to play. And I do believe the wait this week is just to see if they should play it, if they'd somehow gotten lucky and dodged this bullet. And so far the data suggests no, they haven't.
Yeah, it's really interesting because the Democratic Party, for all of their rhetoric about how they and they alone believe in the values of democracy and they are our only safeguard between tyranny and democracy, have repeatedly proven, not just in this election, but prior ones, that they actually run the party in an extremely authoritarian and anti-democratic way. In 2016, when Bernie Sanders had a genuine chance to defeat Hillary Clinton, the DNC intervened and cheated to make sure that she won. And that wasn't me saying that. That was Donna Brazile and Liz Warren
That happened.
and a bunch of emails. That they cheated. They subverted the democracy. Yes. I mean, they absolutely did. And party insiders say it. It's undisputable that that happened. Bernie probably would have won absent that constant cheating. In 2020, not something as great, but something very similar. And they're now mentioning this as Joe Biden rants and raves against the Democratic elites. A lot of these people are going on TV and saying, hey, in 2020, you didn't hate the Democratic elites because we were the ones behind the scenes who forced everyone out of the race so that none of the vote got divided and you could easily beat Bernie. We, the Democratic elites, are the ones who enabled you to win. So they constantly talk about how they manipulate the politics, they manipulate the elections to get the outcomes that they want. Of course, the Democrats, especially if they believe they won't just lose the White House, but the House and the Senate, meaning their own jobs, are going to go to extreme lengths to force Joe Biden out if he chooses to stay in and doesn't leave voluntarily. They have a lot of weapons, including very anti-democratic ones that they've proven before they're more than happy to use to get the outcome they want.
James Carville has been a voice of reason throughout this whole contest. He's one of these, he's of course a lifelong Democrat. He's not a woke Democrat. And he's seen what's happened to his party. He's not one of those Democrats who's meandering closer to becoming an independent or a Republican. He's a true blue Dem, but he's very critical of what his party has been doing. And in particular, he's been critical lately of their decision not to sub out this obviously infirm man. Here he was reacting to the Cook political report in SOT 2.
Cook moved 6 states away from Democrats. I watch some of these press conferences, and it reminds me of a book they made me read in college called Ship of Fools. A bunch of desperate people sailing into disaster. I still think I'll stand by my thing that he won't run, but if he does, we're just making a idiotic choice for the future of our country. And I can't help but believe that. And the proof's in the pudding. They're moving states away from us. We're losing. We're not winning. And when we lose, America loses. It's that simple.
All right, one more for you, Glenn. Who got Bill Clinton elected? That man right there, James Carville, and George Stephanopoulos. They weren't the only two, but they were two important members of the team. And George Stephanopoulos, a young whippersnapper at the time, who then went on to become a partisan journalist over at ABC, was the one, of course, who conducted this interview with Biden on Friday. Very sympathetic to him, but much more sympathetic to Democratic politics in general. His big goal is to have a Democrat remain in the White House. I don't know that he cares that it's Joe Biden. He wants whoever's going to beat Trump. That's pretty clear. And he was, I don't know if I'm going to say caught by TMZ on the street. I actually have questions about whether this was orchestrated by Stephanopoulos himself. But TMZ, let's say, caught up with George Stephanopoulos on the streets of New York yesterday. And here's that exchange.
You think Biden should step down? You talked to him more than anybody else have lately. And you can be honest. You don't think he can serve 4 more years? All right. That's an answer.
I don't think he can serve 4 more years. Now he's come out and said, somebody stopped me and I shouldn't have given an answer. I should have just kept walking. I don't know, Glenn. It's not like I cover news. I'm on TMZ. I cover all media sites that cover the media. I don't see George Stephanopoulos being followed a lot. I really don't. The paparazzi aren't so interested in him. It's possible because he just did this sit down. TMZ caught up with him. But if I had to put money on it, I would bet you that Stephanopoulos made that happen because it's his way of saying his opinion without saying his opinion. So you got both of the Clinton guys, the Obama guys have been very vocal, not the presidents themselves, but all the guys around them, all those Pod Save America's guys have been very critical of Biden. So you've got all the staffs of these former presidents who clearly want him out.
Yeah. First of all, anyone who's even a little bit in the public eye, like who has a public platform, understands that if you say something on the street, of course, there's a big chance you're being recorded. Someone's going to hear it. I mean, someone like George Stephanopoulos, who's been on television for decades now, obviously understands that if someone stops him and he says something, there's a chance that it will leak. It's hard to believe that was some sort of huge surprise for him. I think that there's this very interesting other dynamic here, Megyn, which is, when James Carville and George Stephanopoulos and all those Clinton people came into the Democratic Party, in order to win, they felt like they had to radically revamp the Democratic Party. They had to kind of purge the left. They had losses, terrible losses with Walter Mondale and Michael Dukakis and, throughout the 90s. And there was a lot of internal debate inside the Democratic Party. Over the last 8 years, there's no debate inside the Democratic Party. These people are completely unified. Even the left wing of the party, the squad that was supposed to be an anti-establishment challenge to Democratic Party leadership, they're as much in line as anybody.
Summer used to mean tossing and turning all night, desperate to stay cool. But now there's Cozy Earth bedding. Even on hot, sticky nights, you can sleep comfortably. Just switch your current sheets for soft, breathable, Cozy Earth sheets. If you're not sleeping cooler and more comfortably this summer, they will refund your purchase price, plus shipping, no questions asked. You even have 100 nights to try them out. Why such a bold guarantee? Because Cozy Earth's bedding, made from viscose from bamboo, traps less heat, keeping you cool and comfortable year-round. Cozy Earth also offers bath sheets and towels that are luxuriously soft. I just got a new set. Love the waffle on the one side and fuzzy part on the other, totally absorbent and comfy. Their towels are not only incredibly gentle on your skin, but also, as I mentioned, highly absorbent. Fact, I can verify. This summer, transform your home into a sanctuary with Cozy Earth. Visit cozyearth.com/Megyn. Use promo code Megyn at checkout to save up to 30% right now. That's cozyearth.com/Megyn, MEGYN, for 30% off your order. And remember to select the Megyn Kelly Show in the post-purchase survey for free socks. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.